Hello, how are you? Today we're going to be learning about a chromatic scale in this video. And a chromatic scale is a scale that goes up by half steps or half intervals. Okay, so in a scale, a 1 octave scale where we would have 8 notes, we will have now 12 different pitches in a chromatic scale. Okay, so I've attached a PDF for you to take a look at as well. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, I'm going to start on the open G, and our finger is going to go up half steps. So our first kind of normal spot on the violin where our first finger would go is 1 whole step away from the open string. So in order to play the half step, our first finger is going to come back towards the scroll. Okay, that's going to be a half step away. So have a listen. Let me tighten my bow here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if we counted those, I'll go down this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we've got 12 different pitches there. And so each time our finger is going to go from the half step to a whole step. Keep them close, that's a half step. Separate it, that's a whole step. Or a half step and then a whole step. Keep them close, that's half. Stretch it, that's a whole step. So the whole step is going to have a space between your fingers, and then the half steppers are going to be close. All right, and so the pattern that we're going to do to make this work is we're going to do an open string, a low 1, and then we're going to slide the 1 up to where it normally would go. Okay, so open, low 1, regular 1, where we would normally put our first finger. Then our 2 is going to go right beside the first finger. That's the half step because they're very close together. And then we're going to separate them. So that's now another half step away. Third finger, stretch, 4. Okay, so that's the pattern. So open, low 1, regular 1, low 2, high 2, 3, high 3, 4. Okay, and then we'll go right to the low 1 on the next string. Same pattern, low 1, move it up first finger, low 2, move it up second finger, regular 3, move it up, it's an extended 3, and then our fourth finger will go right beside it. And in the case of the G scale, if we were just doing a 1 octave G scale, then we would actually be stopping at the G natural on the D string, which would be our third finger. So we wouldn't have to do that second extend. I'll play it one more time, and maybe I'll just kind of shift my body here and let you see my fingers one more time. Okay. Low 1. And that G should sound the same as this G. Right? They share a pitch, right? So we want to make sure that our fingers, as much as we can, we're getting right to the accurate note. And when we are doing the slides, because you did see my fingers were sliding, we're doing the slides at the time where our bow is changing directions. And so we're not going to hear the slide. We don't want to hear this. We don't want to hear the slide. We want the slide to happen as our bow is changing, and we want the slide to be fairly quick so that we don't hear it. We want to hear just the note kind of landed in its spot there. So again, it's open, low 1, move it up, it's easier for you at first to do almost like a stoppage of the bow altogether while you get your finger together, then do that so that we don't hear the slide, because we do want just to hear the notes cleanly being put down on the strings. Okay, now that chromatic scale is going to be really, really, really helpful for learning about some of the the low twos and the high twos and the different fingering positions that we can have in the different key signatures. So practicing that is always a good idea. If you have a song that is that has a lot of accidentals, which means that it may be in, let's say, the key of C, which means that it would have no sharps or flats in the key signature. But perhaps in the song there is a lot of accidentals where the composer has put in sharps or flats written into the music, and in those cases, it's really helpful to have this as kind of a backup, so you get familiar where all of the notes go and how they relate to each other. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is practice the chromatic scale this week. And if you want to keep going on the chromatic scale and just go all the way up the strings, it wouldn't necessarily be a scale, but it would be just good practice to go all the way up. I'll tell you what that would sound like. I've attached a PDF, and this is what the notes on the PDF sound like, okay? Because they go all the way up to the E string, starting from the G string in that same pattern. So here's how that sounds. So they go all the way up to the fourth finger, and then it comes back down. So when you're at this fourth finger, then we've got our third finger right behind it, ready to come down the scale. So then it comes back down, and the fingering would be, the same as when you're coming down. So give that a try this week. It's going to be really helpful in some songs that we're learning where there are a lot of accidentals, and it really helps our fingers to learn where they're supposed to go in some of those different positions. So give that a try this week, and we'll see you next time. Have a great week. Bye-bye.